the 7 makeup brushes that everybody needs, and you really don't need any more than this. Let's get into it. The first brush we're going to talk about is the Siren brush. This was revolutionary. It changed the way that I did my own makeup and my makeup that I do on clients about 2 years ago when I discovered it, and we have been selling out of it ever since. It is kind of a magic tool to have because it replaces almost all of your face brushes. It's very good at going in between dark and light colors because it really doesn't hold on to makeup. So you can go from powder to cream, you can go from dark to light, and it doesn't have to be washed very often because it just doesn't hold on to makeup. It has this side here that is a little bit more flexible, and then it has a shorter side that gives you a little bit more sturdiness where you need it. So I love the Siren brush, and I think that this is a great replacement for most of your face brushes. I use it for foundation, for blush, for powder. I even use it on my eyes to blend in a little bit of contour cream to contour away the hooded eye effect. And let's get into the other 6 brushes that everybody needs. Because the Siren brush does such a good job with my complexion and it's so efficient, I find myself using only one other face brush, and that is a concealer brush. A concealer brush is just a flat paddle-shaped brush, and you should keep a little bit of foundation or concealer in it at all times so that it helps with the removal of messes. So when you have mascara that has gotten on your eyelids or eyeshadow that has gone too far down on your eyes, you can use this. Always work toward the nose to remove messes. But this is going to ensure that your makeup dates with yourself where you are trying things that you haven't tried before or you're making mascara mistakes. This is an easy cleanup tool and one I think that everybody should have. The 2 eyelid brushes that I think everybody needs are a basic shadow brush, a little bit fluffy and a little bit flat so that you can do your crease. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to use our Ugly Duckling blush and put that in the crease right at the top of my eyeball. And it's just going to cover that space right there, making it really easy to apply shadows to the hooded eye area to push the hood back, but you really don't need 6 shadow brushes. The other one that you need is a short and stubby brush that does a little bit more detail work. This is the one we use for our bronze cream shadow, and this is also great for applying other shadows to the lash line where you just want a little bit more control. Eyebrow brushes, I think everybody needs 2, but you could probably get away with just this one if you have bushier eyebrows than I do. But because mine are so sparse, I also like to have a really fine detail brush. This one is by Morphe, and so is this one. These came in a set. They don't have to be high quality. They just need to be nice and tight. You can see how sharp this one is and how teeny tiny this one is. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to use either one of these. I'm going to do one with one brush and the other brow with the other brush. I'll do this right side with this teeny tiny brush. I'm going to put a little bit of brow gel on the brush. You can use any kind of liquid just to give yourself a little bit more power out of this powder. And I will just go in and make my bottom baseline and then go in with little fine strokes. This takes a little bit longer, but it's just a little bit more realistic looking and creates a little bit more of a hair-like brow, giving me a very natural look, where the other brush you'll see just in a moment is just going to give me a little bit of a fuller brow, and it's going to cover a little bit more distance a little bit quicker. So it's maybe a little bit more efficient. I'm going to also dip that one in a little bit of brow powder. Brow gel, and then into the brow powder. I'm going to localize that on the lid, and we'll see how this one is just has a larger surface area, so it's going to cover a little bit more ground a little faster. I didn't have quite as much product on that one. And we'll go in with our hair-like strokes. And I can achieve pretty much the same look with either brush, but you might find that having both is very helpful, just depending on how quickly you need to get it done, how thick your eyebrows are, and how you like them to look. I always recommend that your brows go in just 2 directions, not 3 directions. And that the color of the product that you're using is not too yellow. It should not necessarily match your hair. It just needs to look good with the rest of your face, and it needs to point people to your eyes. Your brows should never be the main character. You're also more likely to get a spoolie on the end of an angled liner brush. And the last and 7th brush that I think everybody needs is a lip brush. I have never really used any one lip brush that was better than any other lip brush. Even the small travel ones are fantastic. And applying your lip gloss with a lip brush is a game changer. It is going to do a much better job of filling in the fine ridges than the doe foot does. And it's going to give you the ability to do what I call as a thin, dry layer of lip gloss, which is going to last a lot longer. So you pull off the product from the doe foot onto the lip brush, and I like to do my liner first. I would go over any lip liner that I had applied. I haven't applied any this time, but do the outside edge of the lip before you do the inside, and you're going to get a better payoff of the sheen that reflects light at the edge, at the apex of the curve of the lip. So the vermilion border, usually on most people, it has a little bit of an edge to it. And when you get sheen on top of that edge, you are getting a more exaggerated point of light. So it just makes your lips look a little bit fuller. And then I use what's left over and do the center and really try to stretch it out. It's going to last longer in a thinner layer than it is if you just kind of glop it on. So a full face of makeup with just 7 brushes. The Siren brush is in my TikTok shop.